Once again, my name is Tony Olaside, the administrator of Think Beyond the Present. A lot of people ask, what's this Think Beyond the Present all about? This platform is a platform just to encourage people, to motivate people. We have a lot of people going through things they can't even they can't even discuss or tell anyone about. People are going through a lot. They just feel down at one point or the other, at one point or the other. You are almost giving up on yourself. You are almost feeling like, oh, I don't think I can carry on this. I don't think I'm meant for this. I don't think I should be in this position. You're about giving up on yourself. You're about losing hope on yourself. I want to tell you, it is not time for you to give up on yourself. If you can just do one thing, and that one thing is just for you to think beyond your present. So this platform is a platform created just to motivate people, to motivate you on how you can do it better, to motivate you on those things that are right inside of you. And all you just need to do is to wake it up. It's just for you to arouse it and make it come alive. So this platform was part of a vision that I had in time past, when everybody has one thing or the other they're going through in life. And you just feel, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to overcome this. But trust me, you can. We are just exactly what we say of ourselves. If you as an individual start giving up on yourself, then if other people give up on you, then I don't think we should blame them for that, because already you write yourself off. Somebody could write you off and say, no, you can't even be nothing. But if you have the belief in yourself that I can be something and I can do it, then trust me, definitely you can do it. So this platform was born out of an idea of wanting to touch people's life, wanting to impact people, wanting to impact people's life. And you might not be able to go into their houses to talk to them one on one, to be able to meet their needs. But I started it like a platform of, okay, if I can't go in to meet people, let me write some stuff on social media. Let's post it out so people can get to read and join and see how impactful it was. So Think Beyond the Present was a platform born out of the idea of wanting to touch lives. That's one thing I want you to understand. It was born out of an idea of wanting to touch life, wanting to motivate people. A lot of people are giving up on themselves when they even have a lot. When we mean a lot, they can do more than what they could even think of themselves. But they end up giving up on themselves. I don't blame them for doing that, because if we keep shifting blames, then we're not ready to help. The rate at which I can handle things is different from the rate at which somebody else can handle things. So we don't want to come and start pointing fingers and start saying, oh, you should have done it better this way. You should have. No. We all have a different way we can handle things in life. So the fact that that person couldn't handle it better in any way does not mean the person is to be criticized. We are to help them out. So Think Beyond the Present is a platform whereby if you have somebody going through something, you might know them, you might not even know them. You just want them to be part of it. If they can just stand their ground to think beyond their presence and be motivated about it, and just reposition their mindsets. I say it again, and just reposition their mindset, because it has to do with the mind. You can think and still have the same mindset of, I'm just thinking, but I can't do it. If you say you can't do it, trust me, you're never going to do it. But when you're thinking beyond your presence, you have to reposition your mindset. So in repositioning your mindset, that would be able to help you to be able to achieve and do a lot of things. I think our guest speaker is already here with us on Facebook. Just a second, everyone, please. We are so sorry about this. We're so sorry about this. Oh, okay. I think she's about to Sorry about this, everyone. Yeah, I already accept the request. You should be on now. Don't worry, just relax. We got you, Bookie. It happens. Just relax. We got you today. Yeah. She's about connecting home with us on Facebook now. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. That was so awesome. Thank you all. I love you guys. Thank you guys for waiting and being patient with us on this. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I don't know where you went after I joined it. It kind of moved me away.
Moved you away.
Yeah.
I have you on the screen.
Oh, you can see me?
I can see you, but it's showing that I'm hiding. So I think it's just waiting on you. You did not accept it.
Oh, I thought I did. Oh my
No.
goodness.
I think you have to request again. Yeah. Okay, let me try again.
Let me see. Okay.
Did you get it?
All right. Um, I think. Let me see. Let me see. I send a request again.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Did you see it?
Um, yes,
Yeah.
I joined. Shoot. I do apologize.
No,
I
that's
think I don't
fine.
have my camera on. My husband doesn't have his camera on,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why it's not allowing me to.
Oh, that's fine. We are all here for you.
Can you see me now?
Let's see. Not yet. Did,
Okay, I'm gonna try it. So this is the last time. I've turned on the camera now.
okay.
Okay, so
So are you gonna send the request again?
I did.
Okay, let me check.
This is what happens when you don't do live very often. Okay, so okay. And I am connected.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got you here.
so I move down. There's um. Are you getting friction like I'm getting as well?
I am as well.
I think it's because I have both of the phone close to each other, and I think that's what's causing the friction. How about now? Is
I think you want to talk and let's see.
that better?
I think we can still hear you like two times. But if everybody in the house would, if they can just let us know if it's better now. Please, is it better now? Can you hear us, please? Can you hear the both of us now? Please, let's know if you can hear the both of us.
I can hear you on Instagram. I can hear you on Facebook.
Okay, then we should be good to go, right? Okay, thank you everyone for joining and thank you for your patience with us all through this. We are so grateful for this. Yeah, we have our speaker right now connected with us on Facebook and on Instagram. Before we go ahead on today's edition, I would want to introduce our guest speaker to you. Her name is Olubukola Bakare. Olubukola Bakare. She's born and raised in Nigeria. She's born from this part of Nigeria or your state is saying to be prescribed.
Yes.
In Oyo, that was where Buki was giving birth to. Buki came to US, United States of America, at the age of 15 and overcome many obstacles in the past 21 years. I'm going to say that part again. Buki came to the United States of America at the age of 15 and overcome many obstacles in the past 21 years. Somebody's going to add that 21 to 15. I know what that age looks like. To the glory of God, Buki is now a wife, a mother of two, and in her career, she is pricing and analyst in various industry, and she's a business co-owner of Ashabi Collection. I bring to you Buki, and trust me, I don't want to tell you. I want you to hear it from Buki's mouth. If only you can be patient and listen carefully, you're gonna be inspired by this, like by the story of Buki. Buki went through a lot, and she was able to be strong for herself. She was able to be strong for herself. So as we continue, I don't want to start giving you about Buki, and she's right here to say it for herself. So we're going to continue. This is the first segment of this art poll. Like I said, if so, for some those who are just joining now, we want to make this a monthly event. We want to make it a monthly event whereby we're going to bring people who had gone through things, not saying it, not because they had it. This is their story. This is them. They're going to come share their experience with us. How were they able to navigate? How were they able to go through it, even at that point of wanting to give up? How were they able to think beyond the present, just as the platform said? How did they do it better? Where were they able to grab themselves? These are going to be real life stories of people went through it and they came out of it strong. And I trust me, as you go through this edition with us, if only you can just go be a good listener and follow through some of those steps, you can do it too. So we're going to continue today's edition by asking Buki some questions. I want people in the audience to, if you have a question, you can just put it on our comment section. Do find a place in your heart to like this program, share, Art Paul with TBTP. TBTP means think beyond the present. So Art Paul with think beyond the present. Do comments, share, like. So today we have Buki Olubukola Bakari. Our first question to Buki would be, Buki, can you tell us about yourself a bit? Can we get to know you?
I'm not sure if everybody can hear me.
Or if you can't hear Buki, can you just comment on the comment section so that we can be able to? I think I can hear you, Buki.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So people on my page probably will not be able to know that I'm the one on the page because my husband, I'm using my husband's phone, but that's okay. um, so a bit about myself. Like you mentioned, I'm a mother. And first of all, I'm a child of the Most High. I think that's one of the things that I wanted to people here. This is not a religious services, but and I think that my emphasis was really strong on letting people know that there's no way I would have made it through if it wasn't for my faith in Christ throughout the whole entire time.
That's
Um,
right.
I'm a wife. I'm happily married. I have two girls. I have my master's in business management. So I have my MBA here in run business. I had a collection with my sister. Then I run the business which I'm wearing the shirt as well. And I'm a siblings. I have a bunch of other siblings here in the United States. It's a total of 7 of us. And amazing parents.
Thank you for that. So we believe we now know a bit about Buki. She told us, she did you tell us the position you have in your family, Buki? I don't know if I heard that.
Ah, I'm the second born, but I'm the oldest girl.
Oh, she's the second and
Yes,
the oldest of them in girl. So
yes.
Buki has told us a little bit about herself, and she told us that she's a co-owner in Ashabi Collection. For some of you who want to be part of that, she has a lot of nice outfits in there. So now, as we go on, Buki, how will you describe yourself growing up as a child? How would you describe yourself? How would you
Uh,
describe the journey so far? How was it?
I would definitely say it was not easy. I don't know if anybody know where Ishayin is. Um, Ishayin is the village of the village of the village. I grew up with, my grandmother living on the side with um, cow poop to paint the wall to keep the walls together. That's how I grew up. I grew up with running around in the bushes and going to the river to fetch the water so that and I have the fresh water to drink, washing clothes with my hands. My mother was a primary school teacher in a small village.
Hmm.
So we were not grew up with a lot of money. I grew up with dirt poor, meaning that some of the food that we eat on that day is probably what we get. Some
Hmm.
dinner is sometimes the dinner that we have that night is a leftover. And I still tell my husband. I remember my mother. Um, she would. I don't know if you ever seen amala that's been sitting for time, and
Wow.
amala has the white stuff on top of it. My mother will rinse it off, and then now drop the little drop into where we do and stir it up and dump
For
in the
those who
plate.
don't know Amala, that's the Nigerian food.
That's how I grew up. I grew up with, you know, very, 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 very job poor, and just my mother just managing through things. Um, she was there for as she was really a single mom because my father was already
Wow. So she was all by herself and trying to just make life easy for you while
uh,
your dad was in the US. So despite the fact that daddy was even here in the US, you still went through all of that, right?
absolutely.
Was it that daddy was not on the lookout or was he checking back or what?
You know, back then in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, there was no phone. You know, I remember growing up, we have to
Oh.
sit by the phone for. And we live in Isheye. Maybe only like three people in the whole town has a phone. So I remember on Sundays, maybe once a month, I sit next to the phone for my dad to call because he had called Saturday before and tell that person, send a message to my family that I'll be calling them. They need to come and come and sit here with you. So the whole family would sit the whole day in the house of the person that owns the phone so that my dad can call from the United States. But back then, my dad was also a student. He came here as a student. So he wasn't working. So he has a lot of money. He was just trying to
Mm.
make it his things for himself. But that was the only way we move forward and grow. So there had to be separation between my mother and my father for many years.
And before we go ahead in this segment, I want to make mention of this. I'm so blessed to have my sister because I'm from Oyo State too. Or Kaka to be prescribed. And she's from Italian. So if we have some Oyo people on this line, you want to show some love to us. Yeah, as we go to the next question on this segment, the next question is going to be, Buki, how would you describe this word? A lot of people say this word, my past, my mentor. My past, my mentor. How would you describe that word? My past, my mentor, in part of the things you've gone through in life. And I would want you to take us a bit back to those things you've gone through in life as growing up as a child. You said it that it wasn't that easy. I remember that part you mentioned that it even got so bad to the extent that the food of almost 3 4 days, you still went back all the way. Mom would, or just to show, it wasn't as if mom wanted to give you that food, but that was all she had at that time. She went all the way to taking the food of the past just to give you again to eat. I want you to just try to describe to us when you hear the word my past, my mentor. How would you describe it in growing? How has it helped you to shaping you? How has it helped your journey so far in being what you have become?
Um, I would definitely say at this stage of my life, my past have helped me one maturity. Growing up was not easy. Um, and even though I lived with my mom for a while, later on I was asked to go and live with somebody else for a few
Hmm.
years. I lived in Togo for roughly about 7 years. I was sent to go and live with an evangelist, which my parents really believe is he has a good heart that will take care of their children. And it was me and my two brothers that lived with that particular woman. And um, it wasn't what they thought it was.
Hmm.
They thought it was be a
It
good
wasn't
woman,
what we they thought it
or it
was.
wasn't what they thought it was. Um, we got there to be my parents paid for school fees, for kids' school fees, and pay for the housing. and send allowance every. My dad sent
Wow.
allowance every month from you. And the particular person that we live with turned us to a
Sorry
maid.
to cut you there, but was mom already in the US then?
No, my mother was in Nigeria, but she
Okay.
was at that time we didn't know that she was going through struggles of
Mm.
she had breast cancer. She had to do
Wow.
a lot. She had to go to a lot of treatments. So during that time, she was not taking care of us. So at that time, for this woman, but at the same time, we didn't know that she was
Mm.
through breast cancer. And I think that's one of the
Wow.
things I have learned is to be transparent with your children. You know,
That's right. Be
my
transparent with your
mother.
children.
Oh yes, and my mother would tell us what's going on. All we know is that my mother was not coming around. She was not seeing us, and um, and we might have negative to it, but that's a different story. But
Mm.
she was going through cancer treatment at that time, and the women that we were living with decided that well, since we are living with her, she turned into almost or we always call
Mm.
house girl, a maid,
Mm.
and 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 that taught me a lot of things. It taught me to be independent, and it
Mm.
taught me to learn how to cook from that process. It was definitely wasn't easy. Waking up 4 o'clock in the morning and staying up till late at night, just cooking, cleaning, going to school, and some days you might not have food to eat. If there's no
Mm.
leftover from whatever you cook and the family already eats, you might not have food to eat on that. But one thing that taught me even as a mentor now is that
Mm.
each person that comes to your life has their own assignment. Each
Wow. Each
person
person
that
that comes to your life
have their
have
own
their own
assignment.
assignment.
Yes. So, and that particular woman an assignment, even whether it's good or bad, that was their assignment. I
That's
and
right.
this is not the moment where I pinpoint people for doing wrong or right because that
Mm.
was their assignment.
So she couldn't have done better than that.
She if you don't remember Job, when the devil was tempting Job, he had got permission from God, and even though Job's family and friends were saying whatever they said, but that was their assignment. That's what they are called to do. So no
Mm.
matter what people, sometimes people will be like, this person does to you, and you still nice to them, you still talk to them.
That's
Yes,
right. A lot
that
of
was
people
their
say that.
assignment, you know.
Mm.
And if not for what that woman did, I think there's some character in me that build strength, that build
Mm.
that allow me to sustain through the struggle because she has had the chance to build me during those time. That was her assignment. So whatever I've learned and whatever my past is, and whatever people have crossed in the journey, whether good or bad, that situation, those are my assignment for the growth, for the process of me being redefined in Christ.
Mm. So she was part of those people who probably made you have this story to tell today.
You know,
If there was one, go
I
ahead,
always
Bookie.
I always tell people when people come to me and say, this person they say this about you, this person I always say when I'm telling my story, you are gonna be a character. What character
That's
do you
right.
want to be? Do you want to be a good
Mm.
one? Do you want to be a bad one? But that is up
Mm.
completely up to you. So I learned
Mm.
how to hold grudges on people because if I will interrupt their assignment, you will not sit here in this and have this story.
Please, I hope everybody in the house can still hear us clearly. If you can hear us for any reason, please drop a comment. We just want to be sure everybody's going in line with this, please. Yeah, Bookie, you want to continue?
Yes. So I don't interrupt people's assignment. I do because mm,
Mm.
allow them to do whatever they want to do. Because if I interrupt their assignment, they will not serve the purpose they are called to do in my life. The growth they are supposed to build, the strength they are supposed to build, the character they are supposed to build. Now it's up to me to take whatever they did to me and turn it around and make it to be a positive for my life. I always tell people it's not what people are doing to you, is how you react to it forward. I don't know if I make it.
Mm. Yeah, you do. One of those things I picked while you were talking was the role everybody has to play in your life. They had no choice than to play it.
No,
That's the role. So you made mention of the fact that you want to choose the role you want to play in my life. Do you want to play that role that I can never for once come out of the memories with you for good? Or you want to play the role of each time I hear anything that has to do with your name, I'm sending a curse or I'm sending a blessing? So I think the role we have to play in individuals' life goes a long way, like you said. What impact, what footprints are we leaving people with the way you shared it now, the woman would have been of a good word, but you said that was the role she was supposed to play.
Yes,
So I think this should be like a lifting for everyone going through one thing or the other. We're already picking grudges, we're already picking enemies, for this person to do this to me. Oh no, I'm never gonna forgive, I'm never gonna do this. We heard what Buki said now. That is the person's role. And whatever role that person is positioned to play in your life, you cannot stop them from playing it. You cannot hold their hands from playing it. They have to play their role that they are destined to play in your life. So it is left for us individually to think about what role do we want to play in people's life. What role do we want to be remembered for? And she made mention of one other point, which I took note of that. Transparency. We should be transparent with our children. She mentioned it. Parents, be transparent with your children. As we go to the next question on this program at Paul with TBT, okay, I want to ask you another question. How would you describe your journey so far to greatness? Despite all those challenges, how did you maneuver your way through? Was it how did you go through? How did you maneuver your way to get through all of that?
I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if
I
everybody's
can hear
hearing
you.
me. I think somebody said there's an echo on my hand. I don't know if there's still echo on my hand. Please do let me know. I'm trying to fix it.
Is it from my end or from your hand?
I think my hand.
Okay, on your hand. Buki, you probably want to probably shift the both gadgets a bit.
Yes. How's now?
You want to talk now? Let's
Yes.
see.
Can you hear me now?
I can actually hear you, and I think I'm hearing you on the both sides too.
Okay. Good. Good. I don't know if everybody else can hear me. If people can drop
Please, if we can
comments.
hear Buki, can you just drop a comment on the comment section for us, please? Just to be sure you can hear her, please. She's the reason we have this event today, and it would be so unfair if after everything you can hear all what she has said. If you can hear Buki, you want to show some love, please, please, please. Let's see the comments rolling. Oh, I can see on our Instagram, people are saying, I guess it's from your app. Okay, Buki, somebody said maybe it's from your earpiece. Are you using the Bluetooth?
I'm using it here, and that's because I don't want to hear both device. Because if I want to be able to just hear one from Instagram, because then I'll be confused because they are kind of delayed.
Maybe you probably want to just take off the Bluetooth and let's see, because I'm not using any. Oh,
Okay.
you won't be able to hear?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
How's that? Is that better?
I think, yeah, I think we have some comments saying it's better now. Oh, somebody said it's better you use your hairpiece.
Okay. I thought so.
Oh, on Instagram, it would be nice if she does not use the earpiece. Sorry about this, everyone.
Okay. I don't know.
So let me come again with the question.
Okay.
Yeah, the question was, how would you describe your journey so far to greatness? How did you navigate your way through? How would you describe it? Has it been so easy? Does it come on a platter of gold? And as soon as you landed in America at that age of 15, you came into that rosy land and everything was soft landing. We want to know, how did it go?
It was definitely not a soft landing when I got to United States. Many people always think, oh,
Even with daddy here?
My dad played his role. That's all I would say.
Wow, that was part of the role too.
That my dad plays his own role and what he's supposed to do. But my dad plays role according to his own assignment. I got United States at the age of 15, and I remember a month after we get to United States, it was a freezing cold January that we get in, and in February I started working. I got my first job at the age of 15, and I started working as a bagger in Jew Osco in a grocery store for people that are in Nigeria. From a
You
grocery
started
store
working as a what?
as a bagger, people that bag your food.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah,
Uh,
I got you.
at the grocery
I wanted
store.
to be sure. I thought you said as a beggar. I'm like,
No,
beggar? Okay, I just wanted to be
so
clear on that.
I was bagging groceries. That was my first job at the age of 15. It was definitely
Wow.
not rosy, and um, there was few struggling that was going on at home. My by the time we came to United States, my dad married, so there was a mixed
He
family that
already remarried.
yes, yes, there
Did you
was.
lose mom or what happened?
I'm sorry.
What about mom?
My mom passed away when I was 12. So before I
Oh,
actually left
okay.
Nigeria, she passed away, and actually she passed away, 2000 and I mean I said not 2000, 1996, particularly this month on the 30th. So in a few days, it will be 25 years old. I mean 25 years since my brother passed
Wow.
away. So
Sorry.
uh, I lost my mother in Nigeria before we even left. So the struggle himself has already continued before we even left Nigeria. Uh, the four of us, my mother got to four children, two girls and
Hmm.
two boys. All four of us, thank God, we are all super close. We keep each other together and just support each other, as we kind of go through our own kind of struggles. So
Hmm.
we could all four of us came to United States. Thank God to my father and his new wife. So when I say my mom now, that would be the woman that my father did remarried. Thank God
Hmm.
for her because they brought all four of us to United States. When we got to United States, it was definitely was not started working. There was struggling going on in the home. There was parent fighting and the two different children, American children and Nigerian, that just newly arrived. Yes, so there
Hmm.
was communication issues in between. Um, so that was definitely a struggle. But then as I
Hmm.
get older, um, even within our household in the United States, where most people doesn't believe is that it was actually uh, a issue of molestation happened within the home between me and but
Molestation happening within the home.
yes. So people always think that, oh, when you come to the United States, everything will be all rosy and great. That was
Hmm.
not the case, you know.
Hmm.
But then later on, I left the house. uh, I now I went to college. Now keep in mind, before I left Nigeria at the age of 15, I did not know how to read. I did not know
You
how
do
to
not
read.
know how to read at the age of 15?
No, no, I did not know
When
how to
you mean
read at all.
the word you do not know how to read, do you mean like reading strong
Compl-
words?
no, I couldn't read. I could barely get my alphabet together at the age of 15. I could barely get my alphabet together. I I couldn't even read a sentence. I couldn't even read some words at all. I remember back then, my mom, who some people might call my stepmom, my mom would go and get the books from the library, the primary school or elementary school books, and she will have me sit down next to her, and then she's teaching me how to read. This was at the age of 15.
Did you
And
not attend any school back home in Isain?
I did. I did. But I was literacy was there. I wasn't able to read. I repeated so many grades. I finished my primary six at the age of 12, 13. No, much later, probably four. I finished primary school when most
Wow.
people already finish
Wow.
because I have repeated so many grades just trying to get me to learn how to read. So by the time
Hmm.
I got here, I didn't know how to read. I went through my entire high school not able to read but thank God for American system. I had a
Hmm.
mentor that was sitting next to me,
That's
reading to
right.
me and reading the questions to me, and then I'm answering it. It's not like I wasn't intelligent. I listened to what the teacher was saying. I understand what the teacher was saying. It's just I cannot read what the question is or what is the sentence is. I just couldn't do that.
So you would understand when they say it to you, but you can't just read and write.
I just couldn't. I just
At
couldn't.
the age of 15.
Even much older, like 18, 19. I went to college at the age of 19. And I
Mm.
was still struggling with reading. I was a little bit, I can grasp a little bit, but I was still struggling with it. I remember my first college that I went to. The first year, I paid all my courses, and
Wow.
um, the school just, I said
So
they cannot
somebody's
hear.
saying I can't hear you. Is it Buki you can't hear or myself? Can
Uh,
everybody hear us, please? We have some people commenting they can't hear. We just want to be sure you can hear us. On Instagram and Facebook, can you hear us? Buki, you want to increase the volume maybe from your phone or the both side? Let me try too.
my Instagram phone is actually pretty high. My Facebook, I don't know if anybody's struggling with it. I don't want to make it too high. That's interfering.
No, somebody just comment I can hear.
Okay,
So I
perfect.
think only on Facebook. Facebook, please, if you can hear us, so that we don't keep having issue of this I can't hear, so that we can be able to cover a lot in the few time we have. We just want to be sure everybody can hear us, please. Please, if you can hear us, can you just comment? I would appreciate if you can just be commenting in this section so that we can be able to see that we can hear. I can hear you, Ma, but can't hear the speaker.
I don't know. Somebody else can hear me. I don't know. Maybe it's on their hand.
Yeah, maybe the person want to check his phone because we have some people saying I can hear, we can hear.
Yeah, people are saying we can hear.
Okay, let's just
Okay.
continue them. If anybody can hear us again, we're going to see them comment on this so that we'll be able to use our time so well. Thank you.
So my first university that I went to, and I got a good grade in high school because I have a mentor that was sitting with me and helping me
I
answer
wanted to
all
say,
the
how did you
questions.
do it?
So I got a good grade. But the thing is that I was my first college. I spent 4 years. I mean, my first year. I was majoring in pre med biology. For somebody that could barely read, I suddenly have a big goals on things that I wanted to do. But then after the first year, I wasn't I didn't do very well to the point that the school ended up just telling me to leave the school. The school asked me,
Wow, like
you
a
know,
dropper?
yeah, they pretty much dropped me academically. You are not qualified. You are not doing so well. So I went to the second school. The same thing. You are not qualified. I mean, you are not doing well in your grade. We will ask you to please withdraw your courses
Leave.
and no longer student at this school. I went through roughly about four schools, four universities, before I
Or
actually finished
university
four universities
in
before
the
I
United
actually
States?
in United before I
Wow.
actually finished my bachelor degree. I
For university, you said, Buki?
I'm sorry,
For university?
four universities, four universities, and by the time I went to the fourth university, I already have a lot of other obstacles in my hand. I By the age of 25, I got pregnant with my daughter,
Hmm.
and at that point when I was going through my bachelor degree, I was a single mom and just trying to
Wow.
like make a ends meet. I was, working as a caregiver, and
Hmm.
I would work as a caregiver overnight, go home, freshen up, just watch my daughter for a few minutes, and then go to school and do it all over.
Hmm.
I mean, thank God for
Wow.
family. I really should say thank God for family. My
Wow.
siblings were there to help me with my
I can see
daughter,
some people commenting, Buki, you inspire me. Yes, you did.
and 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 also my mom was there to just help me take care of my daughter while I go back to school, and I was just really inspired by so many other people to even
Hmm.
push my education further. Um, I mean, being a single mom was not easy, and I always tell people,
No.
you know, as a single mom. don't so much focus on the fact that you're a single mom. You know,
That's right.
don't be learn to forgive yourself, whatever's the situation. There's some people that become a single parent by just being by just through their spouse pass away, or by just being out of wedlock, or just through divorce. I mean, learn to forgive yourself first. Whether it's from wedlock or from just divorce, learn to forgive yourself and know that God Himself is not mad at you. That's one thing I have to learn. I spent many years just afraid to pursue dream, because when I become a single mom, I thought I didn't have God
It
backup
was no
anymore.
other. Hmm.
I mean, I actually thought I don't have God backing me up anymore, because we grew up in a society where people frown upon being single mom. Like, you are the worst person, you did the worst things, especially from the way being a single mom from my side. I become a single mom through wedlock, having a relationship with somebody outside of marriage. You know, our society has put so much negative around it that make you think that you are doing something wrong, and you are the worst person, and you are the worst sinner. And over the years, I've learned to just let me forgive. I've learned how to build my relationship with Christ, because I've learned that personal relationship, to say that God Himself is not mad at me. He's not mad at me that I'm in this situation, but He's mad at the situation that I am. God Himself is
That's right.
upset. He's mad that, because He knows being a single mom is a struggle, and He doesn't want to see His children in struggle. So
That's right.
he's frustrated with you, not with you personally, but He's frustrated with the situation, knowing that I'm watching my child how to be a single mom and have to work extra hard to take care of their children. And once I learned to forgive myself, I learned to have that personal relationship, and I know that God has not dropped me on the side, or stop backing me up. I learned to say, okay, God, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is what, strengthen me to do this. Strengthen me to pursue this. Provide for me in this way. And the minute I start doing that, God Himself start, making a way.
Yeah, Buki, you mentioned the point in this while you were talking, and that point really struck me, and I wanted us to shed more light on that. You mentioned about the word molestation in the home.
Mm-hmm.
The molestation in the home. When you say molestation in the home, and you mentioned the fact that some things it doesn't happen even in the United States, which
Mm-hmm.
it does.
Mm-hmm.
Was that molestation the result of the first child?
Nope.
Or that molestation in the home, is he an outsider coming into the house to have that molestation with that child? Or was he a part of the family? Because when you said molestation in the home, it just keep coming to me like in the
Well,
home.
molestation in the home was a separate thing. He built his own different character, because when there's molestation within the home, within the family member, especially if we live in 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 a society where you are not allowed to voice it, you're not allowed to speak
Wow.
about it. Or
Wow.
and I think as I left the home, when I actually spoke about it, I said, okay, this is what happened to me. The
That's right.
feedback was, well, I was just doing what God asked me to do. I was, you know,
But who
the
was saying that?
the person that did it. He said, well, I was asked to, I was doing what God asked me to do. God asked me to,
What God
the
asked
the,
you to do?
a man of God asked me to bath you, or put this on your body, or do this to you, and in their mind, not thinking about what is that
And
doing
this was
to.
at what age? The first molestation started.
It started at the age of 16, all the way till I left the house around the age of 19. You know,
Oh, it wasn't just one time molestation, it was
no.
something that continued
Yes. And
in the house.
in the process, it's always like, well, the man of God has me to do this to you, or do this to you, so that you can grow, or you can, one thing I've learned through that process is that I've learned to develop my relationship with God directly. Not listening to men of God says, yes, I know I'm not doubting
So
men of God. There's a
the
lot of
men
men.
of God keep saying the molestation was normal to do and they should keep doing the molestation over and over again.
here's the thing, and don't no don't misquote me. I don't want people to misquote me and say, "Oh, she's bashing men of God." No, I'm not. I'm not bashing men of God. What I'm saying is that when you learn to build a relationship with Christ directly yourself, and
That's
then
right.
when you are even talking to a man of God, know who are truly called and
That's
who are
right.
just trying to make
We
their
all
own
are
fame.
called and few are
You
choosing.
know, and if the person say, "Oh, this is things gonna happen to your children," I always tell, when somebody tell me, "Oh, do this to your daughter, this is gonna happen," I always say, "God gave me my daughter, so how
Mm.
in the world is God gonna allow that to happen to my daughter?"
Mm-hmm.
With the gift that's given to me. So I'm not doubting men of God. I mean, I have great mentors. I have great spiritual mentors who are men of God, even to today. And they've
Mm.
helped me and sustained me to be
Yeah,
my
there are quite awesome people among them too, but we just want to be vigilant. I think that's what
yes,
you're trying to drive
you
at.
have to be vigilant.
We have
You
to have
have
your
to be
place
alert.
in Christ yourself. Not
Absolutely.
everything you say you follow. Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my daughter did not came from that molestation. But
Okay.
what came from that molestation is a feeling of unloved. It's a feeling of, confused of sexual orientations, confused about sexual,
Wow.
what is appropriate, what is not. And then by the time I get out of the house, it was like at that point I didn't. Nobody had. If somebody tell me I love you, I just immediately say, okay, we are in a relationship. You don't
Hmm.
say I like you. I just immediately say we are in a
You
relationship.
can't even
If somebody,
define it.
I couldn't define it. I was not. Help your children to define relationship in your home.
That's
I
right.
did not. That was not defined to me.
Hmm.
Because I didn't know what is involved in a relationship.
Hmm.
So by the time I get out, I'm not blaming anybody. I made my own mistakes. I made my own mistakes, and my mistake was also part of the assignment for my growth.
Hmm.
So don't. Oh, and I know there's gonna be people on this platform that make big mistake, worst mistake than me. It's
That's
part of the
right.
assignment.
You
It's
don't
the
even want to
assignment.
criticize yourself. You know when it
No,
happens, you want to move on.
no,
God
it's the
allows it.
assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and then the assignment brought a beautiful daughter for me. You know,
Wow.
and during the time of when I was pregnant with my daughter and giving birth to my daughter's father has told me, "I don't know you. I'm not interested in the child. I didn't
Another
get you
face
pregnant."
again.
Yes, I didn't I don't know anything about this pregnancy. So I learned to be. I mean, there was a lot of people that God put into my way in the process. I had a different relationship as well. So that person stepped in for a short period to be the father.
Hmm.
you know, and then that person played their own assignment in my life. You know,
Oh, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to do a quick recap for those who join in so that they can be able to know where we're coming from. This is somebody who is telling us a story, Bookie, on how she started from nothing to
yes.
something. There was a role, because she may keep mentioning the role. I'm going to use that statement. She used the role. There was a role somebody played while she was growing, when she went through all of that. They had a time there was no food to eat. There was a time they ate even the meal of 3 days and they still nothing. The mom had nothing to give, that to just give that. And this was the same person. The dad was in the US. Who everybody would think, oh, they should be living fine. There could be struggles even when you think you're in that rosy place if you don't move close to them. This was the same person again after the face of the person they thought would be a good person to them, to take care of them, to nurse them, and lead them aright, happens to make them look already like a house help.
Mm-hmm.
She went through that phase again and leave and came all the way again to United States at the age of 15, thinking it was going to be a soft landing. It was another role again she came up to meet. She was the same person who went through molestation in the home. The molestation happens not just once, it kept on happening continuously. After coming out of the face of molestation, thinking that would be good enough and she would be strong and everything should be over, this is the same person again got pregnant out of wedlock. And the same father who got pregnant, who got her pregnant again, another role again to be played in her life, did not want to accept the child. So I want us to keep going through the storyline. I don't know what role people are playing in your own life presently. I don't know what you are going through, and you're about giving up on yourself. It wasn't that easy for Buki. It's easy to say it now because she came out strong from it. This is something that took tears, that took her to break down. She was, at times, I'm very sure she would be almost depressed at times,
Oh
almost, if
yeah.
not. Yeah. So this is something she went through, like, face by face by face. So as you watching, I don't want you just to watch and just listen and just say, oh, Bookie's story motivates me. Begin to think about that place in you. What are those phases? What are those things you're going through right now? And you're about giving up on yourself. And this was the same girl child at the age of 18 could not even read.
Yep.
Some of us have children in the house. We keep on saying, oh, you cannot read at this age. Shut up. You cannot even amount to nothing. You start comparing them. We shouldn't do that.
No.
When we keep on comparing them to each other, we are killing their self-esteem. In all of this, Bookie's self-esteem was affected. It wasn't an easy thing. At the age of 18, quote and unquote, she went to school. She schooled in Nigeria. She came over here. She schooled too. She could not read. So you might be having maybe one child or somebody around you having such challenge, and you're about to say it can never, no, this cannot happen again. Some are even like, well, we just have you there as one child there. We are almost writing them off. Please, let's get inspired by this story. And the first day I heard about Bookie's story, I came back and I was thinking over and over again, wow, wow. So we don't just want you to just stream, watch. We want you to be inspired. Think about those things you're about giving up on yourself, and begin to pick yourself and begin to see your strengths.
Yeah.
So she mentioned about molestation. That was a phase. After the molestation, she got pregnant. That was a phase. The father did not accept that pregnancy. The father who gave her, who impregnated her, did not accept that child. Somebody else showed up in the scene who was not part of the scene to pretend like, I'm gonna be the father. Don't worry, I'm gonna be there for you. And that person played another role. So I want us to keep going in line with the story so that we don't miss it out in any phase and be like, oh, I don't think I understand what she has went through. She went through all of this. And this is still the same girl child standard. She's no longer a girl child. She's now a woman. And this is still the person who had grew up from that girl child, from that teenage child, to become a strong woman. And I want us to move to the next question, or if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question that was about acting, which I feel this would be a little bit easy for you to just tell us on it. What are the goods and the bad you learned from the life so far? The good, the bad.
I would definitely say the first thing is the good. The good is to um trust God in the process. Don't depend on anybody. No matter how close, no matter how great, no matter how they are, trust God. Because one thing I've learned is that if God is gonna do great things in your life, He's not gonna allow other people to take credit for it. If you are depending on other people, God is waiting for you to let it go so that He can come in where you need to go. Trust in God, and also not hold grudges on anybody. Because there's so much energy that comes with holding grudges that doesn't allow you to have a space in your brain cells to actually think about how to move forward. There's too much energy to be wasting on somebody else that possibly do wrong.
Yeah, well, a question dropped in now. I don't know if you would want to take that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, somebody wrote mentioning, I think this was oh, okay, the person was trying to get a clarification on the molestation. He said, mentioning on the molestation at home, did somebody come into the house? No. Okay,
I
think I understand what the question was. The person is asking, did somebody come into the house oftenly to molest you? Because I want to understand the aspect of molestation at home for you.
It was a family member. It was a family member. And that's one thing I would definitely say as a mother, pay attention. Pay attention to your children. Don't say, and as a father, pay attention to your children. And because one thing that I want you to understand is that molestation happens for girls and boys.
That's
So
right.
if you are a mother or a father, pay attention to your children. Don't say my
Mm-hmm.
spouse is their mother or my spouse is their
Hmm.
father.
Hmm.
The devil can use them as part of his assignment as well. So pay attention to your children. Pay attention to their mood. They always say, for me, I don't
You don't just shut your children down when they want to speak.
exactly
You listen.
listen to them. Let them speak. Pay attention to their mood change. They just say, it's just me and my husband are in the house. There's nothing gonna happen. No.
Hmm.
Or it's just me and my wife in the house. Nothing's gonna happen.
Hmm.
Pay attention, and
Hmm.
not only do you pay attention, teach your kids, or a little girl sitting on a dad lap may look normal to you,
Hmm.
or the dad sitting next to their daughter and rubbing their lap, it may look normal to, oh, it's just a daughter, it's just
Oh.
his daughter. Pay
Hmm.
attention to that, because you want to teach your kids as well when they get outside what is not
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
and you
You
have
need
to
to
teach
define
them.
it.
That's how you define it.
Hmm.
So pay attention to your children. That's all I can say.
Oh, okay. I think you've been able to touch that person's question. So the molestation, she said, happens within the family. So the person who did the molestation was part of the family. And she mentioned, as parents, be it mother, be it father, pay attention to your children. And I think she mentioned one part there that you see them sitting down on your father's, on their daddy's laps, or their whatever, and in an uncomfortable way, you want to correct that child because these are children. Their heart is just as blank as a chalkboard. So not until when you pick up a permanent marker, you write something there. Anything that sticks onto their heart at that point stays with them. So at the time we are trying to shaping them to let them know what is right, we shouldn't accept, oh, this is the father. No, this is the uncle. This is the
Mm-hmm.
brother. No, those ones are exceptional. None is exceptional
Yeah.
in training up your girl child, your boy child. Let them understand what is not right is not right.
Yeah.
He's your dad, but no, there's a restriction.
Yeah.
He is your brother. No, there is a restriction. He is your uncle. No, there is a restriction. So we need to make them understand, both as a girl child, a boy child. We don't just carelessly entrust people.
And when I
We
say
don't
people,
carelessly,
including your spouse, there's no
including your spouse.
yes.
Yeah, including your spouse. Because I used to say, Buki, I remember I was telling somebody one day, and I was talking when I think there was an issue of child molestation going viral early this year, and somebody was asking me my own opinion. I'm like, if you want to hear my opinion, I don't trust anybody when it comes to child molestation. Yeah, I don't. And this is my reason why I said I don't trust anybody when it comes to child molestation. We're gonna go back to the question, to the next question, but I wanted to add to your contribution on that. Why there was a time in Nigeria when I was back home, something happened. And when we got to that event, I was like, no, this couldn't have happened for real. This person had a neighbor. We're sorry to divert a bit, but I'm just trying to buttress Bookie's points on that molestation, which I want every parent to be careful with that. We got to the scene, they said, oh, this grown-up man, a man around 75, was molesting a baby, 8 months baby. It looks stupid to hear. 8 months baby for what? And by the time we got there, the mother was crying. She was all over the place. They couldn't hold her. And Yoruba will say, "Ayemiti baje," which means their life is destroyed. Our life will never be destroyed in Jesus' name. She kept on saying all sorts of words. And we're like, well, wait a minute. How did it happen? This man, you guys are beating. He's too old to do this. This is a 70-plus-year-old man. He could always lay his hand on anyone out there and just give them something and just have it with them. So how would you say a 8 month? And when the woman started her story, I tell you, Buki, I wept. She said they were neighbors. For those who live in Nigeria, we understand what we mean by face me, I slap you house.
That's how
These
I
were
am.
house. Yeah, some people here might not know what it means.
That's
These
how I
were
go.
house. These were houses that were built like opposite to each other. It could be a room. And
Yep.
for those who are with low income, most times in Nigeria, they stay in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody stay in their own apartment of one room, one room, one room. But they all have this closeness with each other. So each time the mother, this baby cries, when you give birth to newborn baby, they cry. This
Mm-hmm.
baby cry. a lot. So each time the baby is crying, the mother would always want to, pet the baby to stop crying. Then this man comes every time to the mom and say, hey, why is this baby crying? Oh, let me have her. Let me help you. Let me pet her for you. And most of our mothers have done that in the past because of their own innocent acts. Nobody would think somebody in his right sense would do that for a baby. But the world has become something else.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be careless to entrust anyone again. So this man keeps coming to this woman. He's going to grab the baby, pretend like he's trying to make the baby stop crying. And most times, when he grabbed the baby stopped crying. So the mom was telling her, as she was narrating it to her, she said, what she noticed is that each time this child cries, this man is real quick to be at their doorstep to say, oh, let me help you with the baby. And you can go ahead and keep doing your homeworks and cleaning up the house. I will guard the baby for you. And this was the old man, was never going anywhere. So I think one of the neighbors said one day he was a bit suspicious on why is he always, and each time he takes the baby into the room. Mm-hmm. So, and in a few minutes time, the baby stopped crying. And this was something they said, it happens often and often. Buki, do you know each time this man takes the baby into the room, what he does is just to bring out his manhood thing, insert it into the baby's mouth to suck. And the baby suck innocently thinking it's breast.
Oh my God.
The baby suck innocently, times without number. So the baby began to get sick one point in time. They lost the baby. And when they got the baby to the hospital, they said, oh, the baby was, what they found that the baby wasn't it, this, that. And they find out that this was what the man was doing to the baby. And one woman said, and I noticed one day, that in short, she peeped. That what's going on? But immediately she peeped, the man was, sorry. And when they saw this man, the man said, the shade shooting, which means devil's work. Devil's work? Mm-hmm. Devil's work for a 8-month baby? So, like what Buki was saying, we don't want to be careless. We don't want to be careless to trust anyone. We are not saying, oh, everybody is evil. We're not saying everybody is this. But what the world has turned into has made us to be extraordinarily careful. Extraordinarily careful. She was mentioning even the father putting the baby on the laps. No. There are some ways you can play with your child. Even me as a mother, putting my son unnecessarily attached, unnecessarily, no. Mm-hmm. So this does not go with fathers alone. We're not trying to pick on the fathers alone. This goes with the both sides. Mm-hmm. Both the father, the mother, the nephew, the niece, the cousins, the sister. Please, let us draw a line. It's what the world as a generation has come into right now. The days of our mothers were different. There's now a lot of things are going on. So I think that point is, even if there's nothing we want to take home again from this segment, we should take that home. We want to be careful. Don't be careless to entrust anyone. So, Buki, should we go to the next question if we still have the time to take more? Yeah. Okay. So the next question would be, how would you have done something better if you have the chance? And how will you advise anyone coming behind that might be going through such as what you have gone through now, on how to stay strong and come through it?
I think one of the things that I would definitely have done better was not to overwhelm myself and stress about things. Because now I'm looking at it, I'm like, God, if I knew this was going to turn out like this, 5-10 years ago, I wouldn't have been stressing about it, you know.
Right.
And learn to just trust God. Trusting God is not just about going to church and showing up, but trusting God is really saying, God, I put this in your hand. Whether was somebody else's mistake or my mistakes, or learn to just say, Lord, I'm sorry, but I put this in your hand. I think I spend too much time dwelling on what the situation is. I know it's not easy. It's not easy for when you are in it. It's easy to say now that I'm out of it, and I'm still going through my stories. Things are still happening in my stories, but I think I think it's important for for us, whether men or women, when you are going through the situation,
Hmm.
take a deep breath
That's right.
and say, okay, what is the way out of this?
Hmm.
And I still struggle with that. Sometimes my husband is like, wait, you are dwelling too much on things.
That's
Let's figure
right.
out a way out of this.
But we are human.
We are women,
Let's help.
and the only way I can encourage anyone that's going through the situation now, or can foresee a situation, what I can tell you is that one, find mentors. Find
Hmm.
mentors. It's really important, and I think that in our society that is not really pushed in
Push.
Nigerian society. Find a mentor. Find somebody that is where you want to be. That's the definition of
That's
mentor.
right.
Somebody that's
Hmm.
where you want to be.
That's
And
right.
you can sit down with them and they can advise you certain things. For
That's
me,
right.
going through the process, I have three different mentors. I ask my spiritual mentors. That's advising me, or okay, let's pray this way, let's do some fasting and prayer. I call them my spiritual mummies, that's helping me through my faith. With my career, I have a mentor that was really okay. This is what you should do. You should get this certification. You should get this degree. Stuff like that.
Hmm.
And personal life, have a mentor where you're going through day to day, whether you're a single mom or you're a mom or you're a wife. Find somebody that you can trust. I'm not saying you should go around
That's
looking
right.
for friends and then talking, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but find somebody that you can trust and say, okay, whatever I'm going through today, let me run it down with you. I know
That's right.
for me, is my younger sister, and my
Hmm.
older brother. So you don't even have to look that far, you know.
Hmm.
And I'll call her. We probably talk like 10,000 a day. It could be like I drop a pen. I'll call her. Hey, I drop a pen today. You know, just for you to get things out.
That's
And
right.
for the person that's not in the situation, can give you better perspective on how to handle it.
Hmm. Thank
So,
you so much, Vicky, for that. I think I took note of three things while you were saying that. And I remember one of my mentor that I have during the course of, I think it was just this week. It's normal to cry. Yeah. You going through that, it's
oh
normal
yeah,
to cry because don't forget, we all are flesh. It's easier said than done. Not until when you are in there before you know what you are capable of handling. So Bookie is not telling you not to cry in all of this.
nope.
It's normal to break down. You want to tear, go ahead and tear and just cry. If you need to
But
lock yourself indoor and just cry for just a few seconds, do that. But where the problem comes is you keep nursing it and you don't want to come out of it. And that's when the problem comes. And when when it gets to that point for you, you want to seek for help, like she said.
mm-hmm.
Mentorship can come in. You want to seek for help. Then you want to begin to think on the direction of self-discovery.
Yeah,
Because she was able to discover herself in all of that too.
yeah.
Like we're saying, you don't want to keep celebrating that day. Stop celebrating the day of it. You write it in your diary. Some of us have a lot of diaries. Oh, this one, Bookie, you can imagine, right? Some of us have a lot of diaries. This was the day I had that amala, that 3 days amala. This was the day they taught me to this. And each year, some of us people go by months. Today is 24th of July. Oh, this makes it 3 years of my suffering. Can you call years of enough of that?
No, I mean it's okay to cry, but
It's okay to cry.
don't drown in your tears. And it's
Yeah,
easier said than done. It's okay to cry. I mean, I'm a big crier. I cry, boo hoo. But then you have your moment, pour it out, have your moment, wipe your face, and say, okay, what is the next thing we need to do?
that's right, Wookie. I remember this week, one of my mom was talking, one of my mentors, she's my mentor in time of, I look onto her because I love the way she does things and she has been able to break through in so many ways, even in the US here. I was telling her about something this week and I started crying. And she was like, what? you, you are too strong for that. I'm like, I can't help it. I can't I can't help it. And I remember I cried. And you know one thing that came to me that I said, oh, now I remember I'm still human being.
Yeah, yes.
So it's normal to cry at
Mm-hmm.
times when we go through stuff. But you don't want to keep crying, because in the middle of that tears, you need to look for the solution. Trust me, there's a way, there's a solution, there's something lying there. Self-discovery, you want to work on your self-esteem immediately. Your self-esteem might have dropped as a result of that thing, but you
Yep.
want to pick it up. It's just like I think Buki was saying something this week. It was just like a phone that runs down,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to use that phone. What do you need to do
You need
again?
to
You need to
charge
charge
it.
it.
Yeah.
You want to recharge it. So whatever you're going through, it might have made you lost hope on yourself. You might have begin to give up on yourself. It's high time you pick up your charger and charge it up back again.
That's
Work
right.
on your self-esteem. Look for mentors that you can talk to. Somebody that will not criticize you.
Mm-hmm.
So mentors will be like, hey, but you shouldn't have gone there by that time too.
It's
Hey,
okay.
but when it happened the first time, go ahead,
It's
Buki.
okay. It's okay to get criticized, but the criticize has to come from a loving place. You know.
Yeah, because if I've come to you to mentor me because I've missed it, you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to keep criticizing and keep
No.
hammering my head with words. So
Mm-hmm.
you keep, that shows you want me to die in that pain. So you look for mentors that even when they criticize in love, and they're able to help you out real
That's it.
quick. And we should stop celebrating those days of this is the iconic year, this happened to me. When it happens, move on.
Yeah.
Women now, we move. Men,
Oh
we move.
yes. Yeah.
No more waiting. We move. When it happens, you made it happen, whether you apologize or you don't apologize, or you don't feel remorse at what you did to me, or I move. One thing will bring one thing one day that will make you realize, and I still owe this person apology. And if you don't want to apologize, so be it.
Absolutely.
You want to move and make things happen for yourself. So consider mentorship. I know mentorship is a bit hard now. It's something every one of us are striving to look for and get. But in one way or the other, we have to look for somebody to lay our hands on. Then I see some questions already coming on the comment section, but let the comments keep questions keep coming. We're going to take your questions before we round up. We're almost going to the end of the section. So if you have a question to ask, you want to ask Buki, you want to ask myself, you want to ask about your Shabi collection, you want to ask about Think Beyond the Present, please drop that comment. And as you're watching, just encourage us with some likes, share, so that some other people can be encouraged and be motivated about this. Thank you so much. Then the next question we want to go to, Buki. What's your advice? What's your advice for girl child and young ones? When we say young ones, not only the girl child, like we said, boy child are being molested, boy child are going through a lot still. And the young ones out there that are about giving up on themselves as a result of their past experience. What's your advice to them?
First thing I would say tell them is that based on my experience, I strongly believe God has a big plan for everyone.
That's right.
Big plan, big
Mm-hmm.
vision, big destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes a lot of energy and time to create you.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of energy for God to mold you and create
Hmm.
you. And then how in the way is he gonna just put somebody and spend all the it's like an engineer that built computer and just built computer for not to be used.
That's right.
It's like why would you spend those hours to build something
Hmm.
that nobody ever is gonna use? There's a
Hmm.
defined purpose in your life. There's a reason why God created you. There's a reason why God put you on this earth. And
Hmm.
the reality is that it might not even be the things that you see every day. It
Hmm.
might be over time. That can be fulfilled. So if you're going
Hmm.
through a situation, if you're a young person, one thing I want to tell you is that you will look back 5, 10 years from now, you'll be like, wow, if I knew this was gonna happen like this.
Hmm.
I'll give you a prime example. Some of us, when we are in our 20s, you know, we're sitting there, we're like, okay, you look at yourself when you're in your 20s or when you're in your teen, you're like, or especially women, it's very common among women. You're like, oh, I'm fat, I'm fat.
Hmm.
And then you are in your 30s now, you look at your pictures from the 20s, you're like, oh my God, I thought I was fat back then. If
Hmm.
I knew, if I'm looking at myself now, I would have cherished where I am back then. You know,
Hmm.
you're gonna have a situation, you're gonna have a moment, you're gonna have issues.
Hmm.
But take time to just say, okay, during this process, what can I learn to move forward?
Hmm.
And what can I even spend more time to better my life? If
That's
you're a
right.
young person, start to tell me, okay, what is my goal in life? What do I want to become? I don't
Hmm.
care where you are. I don't care if you are. I mean, I grew up in the mud. I grew up in the mud. I mean, the bottom of the mud.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, there's
Sorry,
something
Bookie.
that
I
came
think you
out of my life.
disconnect on Instagram. We have some people already commenting. Instagram call us. We already disconnect on the Instagram, so we're trying to connect in back again. Sorry, I just got the comments from people now. Yeah.
Can you hear me though on Facebook?
Yeah. So you would have to request again to come on.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. Did you send it?
Not yet. Let me refresh it.
Okay.
Okay. I see you now. Yep, I see you now.
Okay. I'm trying to get you connected. Okay. Yeah. Did you get it?
Okay.
Yeah, we got you in back. Sorry, everyone, about that. Okay. So we're asking about the question, people going through this as a young child, as a young boy, as a young girl child, what's gonna be your advice to them? And you were already saying it before we got disconnected on the Instagram.
And my comment is still going to be, know that God created you for a purpose.
That's
Um,
right.
you might be too young, or you might be in a place right now where you don't see that purpose. And take for my example, growing up in the mud, growing up with absolutely nothing, and God makes something out of it. Knowing that 5, 10 years down the road, things are going to be
Mm-hmm.
much, much better. But if
Mm-hmm.
you sit there and dwell and or hand everything now, you will never get to know that great big thing that God has for you.
That's right.
In the moment, and I know, like, during the moment of going through my own struggle, I spent time to pray.
Mm-hmm.
I spent time to
Love
pray to
that.
see what
You
God,
said it.
and
We never to
sometimes,
cry.
and God will encourage you by showing you what is ahead of you.
That's right.
God will show you what are the things that He has planned for you to encourage you. And I know
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten so much encouragement from that in making better decisions. Um, whatever it is that you're going through right now, one thing I always say is that if when you hit rock bottom, those are the best times.
That's right.
Because rock bottom, nowhere other anywhere to go but up.
Hmm.
It's not just a matter of having a horror shoot you from that rock bottom and shoot you up. So don't
Hmm.
dwell too much on what is going on right now.
And what's
Trying to
going on?
find trying to find a solution, trying to find a way to move things around for us.
That's right.
Even you may be taking small steps. I can assure you that small step is going to become a bigger things in the future.
Hmm.
If you are a kind of person that's going through life, even if it's okay, for example, if you're going through life financially, what can I do to make my financial look? Do I need to take a class? Do I need to get
Mm-hmm.
go back to school? Do I need
Mm-hmm.
to examine, okay, what is my career goal?
Mm-hmm.
If you are going through a divorce or you're going through a marriage difficulty, you know, and I went through divorce. That we didn't
Hmm.
get to chance to go through that story, and I went through divorce, and it was really hard. And at that point, I didn't have money to hire a lawyer. I went to court by myself and represent
Wow.
myself without a lawyer.
Wow.
In the moment when you are going through it, and I remember
And the other party has money for the lawyer, right?
the other party did not have money for lawyer. The other party actually was in United States. They were fighting me from outside of the country. And
Wow.
and we were fighting on a child custody. And it was just like battling back and forth. And this is not a moment to bash anybody. That's their
That's
assignment.
right.
That's their assignment. You know. But the thing is that during those moments, I learned to say, okay, I see God showing up for me in all those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I step in, I go to the court, but I see God standing as my lawyer and speaking
That's
to the
right.
judge. You know,
Mm.
during this moment when I'm like, I was so stressed out. I was so stressed out to the point that I remember I went to go and do mammogram and they found a lump on my breast. And because I was so,
Wow.
and this, well, it ended up not being cancerous. But that was a
Wow.
moment that really scares me because I was like,
Mm.
okay, so you're going to dwell on what is going on right now with this particular person, and then something's going to happen to you. You're going to stress yourself, and you possibly might die, and leave this
That's
little
right.
girl to who is going to take care of this little girl.
Hmm.
You know, even when I think I hit rock bottom, what people think it was a negative for me was what helped me to bring me back up.
That's right.
You know, and I during that time I learned to say, okay, God, which route do you want me to go? What is and God always, if you don't ask for God's opinion, we'll just be sitting there.
It
God
will
don't
just
step
be
in.
there, yeah. Because
God
you
just
probably have the solution.
it doesn't step into other people's business without permission.
That's right.
If you don't ask for God, we will just be saying, okay,
Then you're
whenever
good.
you're ready for me, I will
Call
help
me.
you.
That's
But when
right.
when you finally have a moment to say, God, please help me in this situation, and you always show up.
That's right.
It might not be in a way that you think or the way you process it, but you always show up. I know there's a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that's out there that doesn't believe in faith or God. That's fine by me, but I'm telling you what works for me.
Hmm.
So
Right.
that's the only way I recommend.
That's right.
But this is what I learned that have worked for me.
This is the reality of life.
Yes. I don't know
Yeah,
if that
thank
answered the
you so
question.
much. I think that was a good one. In terms of that question, if you're going through any of this, either as a young child, either as a girl child or a boy child, you cannot even be a young child, even as a mother, a father, even as a grown-up person going through all of this. You can see some of those points she said there was she was able to understand a place in God. And that cannot be overemphasized. Yeah, we are Christians and we believe so much in that. So if you take him out of the assignment, he's gonna step out. Yeah. If you bring him into the equation, he comes in real quick and solve
Yeah,
the equation for you. So
absolutely.
it's not a man that want to poke nose.
Nope.
No, no. If you feel you got it all covered, you have your puzzles all, take it. But if you feel, oh, I got the puzzle, but I don't know how to arrange it, I think it is high time you come in as my creator. He steps in. So as you're going through all of that, you want to remember the place of God. You at that time, the only person I know, the only person that I know of that will never fail you and will not go behind to snitch about your story and will not cast you away and will not begin to criticize you. If there's one person I have known, and for me, that has worked for me, I'm going to say what has worked for me is God. I
And I
make him the center, the middle, the
uh-huh.
front, the back, the left, the right.
And
So each time I go back, oh,
I'll
go
give
ahead,
you
sorry.
I'll give you a prime example. Some of
Yeah.
us we have an Apple phone, Samsung, or whatever career that you have.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an issue with your phone, who do you call?
The
You
phone
call
carrier.
the people
That's
that
right.
built the phone.
Yeah.
You know, you
Because they
call
know how to couple
Apple.
it and everything.
They're the ones that know what is inside of it, what it's
That's right.
doing, what it's supposed to do, what it
That's right.
might do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Mm-hmm.
having an issue going on with your life, why don't you just go back to your creator? Hey, you are the
To
one
the
that
master.
created me. You know what's going on in my life now. Well, you know what is about to happen. It's like God has a picture in his head. I mean, he has a picture
Mm-hmm.
lay
Mm-hmm.
out in front of him. If you
Mm-hmm.
are confused in certain areas, you go to that and say, okay, you are the one that had that, or the, I only see what's going on right now.
That's
You
right.
are the one that has a bigger picture. So show me which way and what to do.
And you know one thing, Buki, that I got to realize about life. It depending on how great you want to become in life, that
Yeah.
depends on kind of level of your problems at time.
Mm-hmm.
Each time I listen to people say their stories on how they were able to overcome, and I look at them and I say, so if you had given up then, what would you have been able to say? And I like these illustrations as we are encouraging people going through either this now, or you have somebody going through it, or you are right now even experiencing it. We are just trying to encourage you on those things that helped Buki to shaping herself back. And now she can stand on her feet, even as a girl child without struggles, and now as a woman in a good place, and still hoping for God to take her places more. One of those things that helped her was she never give up on herself. And that brought me to that story of you have two children standing in front of you. And the one child is telling you, hey, mom, you know what? I'm tired. At this point, mom, I don't want to do it again. I think I'd rather give up on it and don't do it any longer. And the other child comes in and say, hey, mom, you know what? I've done this over and over again, mom. I maybe probably is an exam. And the other child is telling you, mom, I wrote that exam 1,001 times before I made it. I was about giving up, but I said, no, I'm going to do it. And the other child telling you, oh, mom, I wrote it 1,000 times and I was just tired. I give up on it. Or probably the other child is even telling you he or she wrote it 2,000 times. And you heard the child saying, I wrote it 1,001 times. Nobody would ever give the kudos or the good job to the one that did it 2,000 times and stop writing. The person you want to give the kudos to is the 1,001 time that made it through.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel you're going through that pain, you're nursing an abuse right now, either molestation, either abuse are in several ways, and we saw different phases in Buki's life. At a point, they were treating her as a girl child, like a house help. And if you know what it means to have some wicked people treat you like house help back home in Nigeria, in her own home country, you know what it is. It is not as easy as we describe. If you know what it is, you know what it is. So it's really like going through a tough time and coming all the way to think, oh, you're coming to a greener pasture again and another phase of it again in her life. But one thing we are able to pick out of this is, if she did not persist to continue to do it better, I don't think we're going to have Buki here today sharing a story. If Buki comes on live today to share the story and she's still like, I'm still trying to solve it, I'm still going through it, I've not nursed the pain, I'm still in it. Nobody want to hear a story, because you know what, you don't have experience yet. Go solve it first. Once you're able to come out of it, that's when you can speak to us. So you're going through that stuff right now, like she said, you don't want to give up on yourself. Make God the center. If you need to talk to people that can help you out. Don't give up on yourself, because we celebrate people today because they did not give up on their past. They made it out of it. You want your own story too to be heard. You've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot, and not to tell somebody else. Then you want to keep trying. The moment you give up on it, you do not have a story to tell. Nobody want to listen to you. Nobody want to give you that kudos. So if there's one thing you want to take home from somebody listening to this program, or we still hear it later, and you're going through one thing or the other, don't give up on yourself. That thing comes to you because it knows you can overcome it. You have the strength. You have all it takes. If only you can push harder a bit. Don't give up. That thing has come to make you give up. And that's why this platform, we target think beyond the present. That thing you're going through, I might not know it, Buki might not know it, you know it, but you want to think beyond it. Think beyond that present right now and begin to reposition your mindset. It's not enough to think. You can think beyond the present and be like, oh, I am thinking, but I don't think I can still do it. That fear will come in. But if you can reposition your mindset, shift it away from where it was before, position it to the right place it should be, then trust me, you will. So I pray we will be able to do that individually. So okay, as we can we go to the next question now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the next question we have here, I think, oh, you already mentioned that a bit, but if you can just probably mention a little more. As a single child, as a single mother, how were you able to narrow your way to greatness? Because you mentioned to us that even when you do not have a child, it was a struggle to even read.
Mm-hmm.
It was a struggle to even do anything. Then when the child came into the scene and you have a child, how were you able to navigate your way with a child and you now having a degree, having your master's? How did it happen real quick like that? Was it easy?
It was not easy, and definitely not. But I remember at the age of 25, with my daughter in my hand, I knew I have to live a better life, and I had to give her a better life. I definitely do not want her to have the lifestyle that I grew up with. I want her to have
Hmm.
a better life. And as more as I grow closer to God, I learn to build that relationship to the point that when I ask for guidance, I get guidance. But one thing I've done, and I try to encourage people to do, is make goals. Make
Hmm.
goals for yourself, and don't just sit there and write down the goal. Have a time stamp on the goal. Have a time stamp on the goal.
Hmm.
If you are a kind of person that is trying to start a business, or you're trying to build your career, or you're trying to get out of whatever
Then-
situation it is for me.
Sorry, Bookie, to cut you on that. I just want you to just take these two questions together. How did you place the place of God in all of this? What was the place of God? So just so that you can touch the
Well,
both.
during the time after I had my daughter, I buried myself in working in church. I buried myself in ministry. I was an usher, choir wherever I can. I buried myself in ministry. And don't get me wrong, I still have my own negative side, negative bad choices that I was making in the process. But that I don't want people to think that, oh, I'm making such a such a negative choices. I can't get out of it.
Hmm.
But there's a way you can make a way out of it. Like I said,
That's right.
I make goals for myself. I say, well, by the age of and I use age. Other people
Hmm.
can use time. I told myself by the time before I turn 30, I want to have my bachelor degree. I don't
Wow.
know how I was going to do it. I pushed myself for it. I
Hmm.
said by the time I'm 32, I want to have my master's. And
Hmm.
then by the time I'm 35, I made such a time stamp that I told myself
You
during the
pushed
time
yourself so real hard.
I told my divorce end in 2014 or 15. And I told myself, I said, I don't want to remarry or deal with remarry until my daughter is 10 years old.
Wow.
I said, I want to focus on me. I want to focus on my career. I want to focus on my education. I want to focus. And the reason why I said that is that I don't want anybody coming to my life to trying to marry me thinking I'm trying to push my responsibility of their child on their neck. No.
That's right.
I want to be able to stand alone by myself. I want to be strong enough to stand alone by myself before
Hmm.
I introduce myself with some. And that's the mistake that people always say, oh, I'm looking for somebody to complete me. Who
No,
said God have not built you to be completed? God have
that's
built
right.
you completed. And you have to work on yourself. And I want to encourage women, single women, don't go out there looking for another a man that will I will complete you.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to complete yourself first.
Yourself.
Make
In
yourself.
yourself.
That's too much work you're putting on the other person. So
That's right.
to the point, I told myself, I don't want to marry anybody until my daughter is 10 years old. And in between those times, I want to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. I have completed everything that I needed to do by the time my daughter was 8 years old. But
Wow.
guess what? My husband did not show up until my daughter was 10.
I wanted us to touch on the face of how did it happen. That would be most of our life. That's one of the last questions now as we are rounding up. Because you
Yeah.
haven't told us that phase, and we know you're married now, happily married to Mr.
Yes.
Bakari. So
Yes.
how did Mr. Bakari showed up in the scene after all of this? You have said the single mother own not giving up on yourself, picking yourself and
I
forging ahead.
During the time everybody was trying to encourage me to, like, okay, I think if you remarry, people are introducing me to other people. There's some people that introduce me to other single fathers, other people
Hmm.
that have kids, because they believe I'm a single mom. But
Hmm.
I told myself, in the past, the a revelation that came to me and said, God said, I want to start you fresh. I want to
That's
give you a
right.
fresh start. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and And people get mad at me. They're like, when they say, "Oh, who are you looking for?" First, I said, first of all, I'm not looking for anybody that have kids. How are you not gonna want anybody that have kids when you
But
already
you
have
have a
kids?
kid. They're gonna be like, but you have a kid.
You have a kid. How dare you? But
I know, right?
this is what I wanted. And I said, as a single person, know what you want. Know,
That's
have
right.
your list of what you want. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I said, that's just me. I don't want anybody that have kids. And I just happen to be doing my own assignment in somebody
That's
else's
right.
life. I conducting my own assignment in somebody else's life, and through that, that person introduced me to my husband. And by the time I met
Wow.
my husband that has never had a kid, has never married, it was a
Wow.
complete fresh start.
Mr. Bakari was just there waiting.
It was a complete fresh. And then before that, so I've dated some people, and some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to date you because I don't have kids. I don't want somebody else to have kids."
Wow.
It was becoming a burden because some people feel
It
like
was something they couldn't handle. You were
they,
made for more than that. They
it
couldn't
was,
handle it.
they were like, "Oh, you have a kid? I don't want to have to anything to do."
Yeah, it's
You know,
not
all
like
the,
they can handle it.
which is, and nothing against them.
That's right.
Nothing. That's just not what they
It's
want.
better to say it earlier than getting into it and they be like, I can't manage through.
And
And that's
this is
another heartbreak.
and or having to pull my child through somebody that just walking around and disliking my child.
That's right.
By the time
Hmm.
my husband came to my life, he was like, "I love you because not only did you give me a wife, you also give me a daughter."
Wow.
You know, that's at the end of the day, that's what it ended up because God works so well in the way that at the end of the day, what he was looking for is exactly me. And what I was
Wow.
looking for is exactly him.
In.
So
Hmm.
it can only be God. I'm telling you that it can only be God. So I hope that encourages somebody, whether you're a single mom or you're going through other things, still make plans. Still know what you want. Don't just take
Hmm.
anything.
So,
Know exactly what you want.
that's wow. Wow. Know what you want. So, as we conclude on today's episode, sorry we took a lot of your time. We wanted to use 1 hour, and I'm sure we already run more than 1 hour. We're having some technical issue when we started. We're sorry about that. We hope to keep these 1 hour monthly. So we're still gonna have some other edition every month. Hopefully, we should be able to. We have some other speakers coming that will give you the real story of what they went through. I saw some comments, some questions came up online there. I will check and see if there's anybody that still have any question you want to go ahead and drop as we do our conclusion right now. Then, oh, okay, yeah. Bookie, somebody wrote a comment. Let me read it on Facebook. Just a second, please. Oh, I hope I can still lay my hand on it. Sorry, please, just a second. Yeah, she wrote advice that how oh, I hope I remember the way. Please, I don't know if you can drop that question again. I'm trying to pick on it, but it's not coming up. Okay, I got it, Bookie. Advice for people that wants to start their own business but keep failing because they don't know how to get about it.
Mm.
Advice for people that okay in fashion, the person specializes in fashion. Advice for people that's advice for people that want to start their own fashion business but keep failing because they don't know how to go about it. That's from Omolola Kalejaye. And
Um, my
okay,
sister and I did start a fashion business, and in the beginning, it was really rocky. It was really rocky, and we were not doing so well. We actually parked it to the side for a few months, and then my sister rebirthed the business last few months. I'll definitely tell you, starting a business is not easy. It's extremely hard. But one of the things that we've done is, um, I think it's always great to take some business classes.
mm,
If you don't, if you cannot take business classes, find somebody else that's already established in it, has them to
that's
be your
right.
mentor. You know, it takes the business this day of age because of social media is so much changing so fast.
That's right.
Educate yourself. Don't just say, "Oh, I have money. Let me just start business." It doesn't work like that. Unless you just want a temporary business. But if you want a sustainable business, you have to invest in educating yourself. But what I would tell you is that don't get discouraged, because the business is gonna have its own rocky moment. It's like this is like marriage. It has its sweet spots and then it has its rocky time. But if you will learn to be patient to it, you can have a lot of people that has the big businesses today. They have their whole rocky time as well. Just sometimes people doesn't share the rocky time. They share you the sweet time. Everybody have their own rocky time. So if this is your passion, this is your goal, this is what you so much desire to do, give it time. Let it nourish. Let it. And my sister and I, we're running the business, but at the same time, we both have our own jobs. That way, our whole entire income is now focused on that. Find something else. It's not going to be easy. I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that have big businesses now, but they work part time and and run the business at the same time until the business and give them time for business to grow. I hope that answered that person's question.
Yeah, I think that was a good point to that question, asking for business. And one other thing, in addition to what Buki has said, you want to be consistent. I don't want to come today, maybe Buki has a restaurant. Today I buy jollof rice with Buki, and tomorrow I come back. Buki is telling me, you know what? Our store has we're trying to on the gas. The gas was this. The gas was that. Oh, after I came all the way, thinking I should be able to get it. You want to be consistent. Let them know you for who you are. Let somebody mention your name and be able to hashtag you with that very business.
Exactly.
If I mention booking now, it comes to my head, Ashabi collection. So once that thing is able to stick with you, and most of us forget to understand that when we introduce business to people, there are other businesses out there that are used to their brand. So we are coming in newly. It's like a newborn baby that just came in. You need to nurture that baby. The baby needs attention. That business needs attention. You need to nurture it. You cannot expect me to trust your business even when you are not even repping yourself. Buki was coming on today now. I didn't even know she was going to do that. Buki, only me one Ashabi connection. Buki gave this money now to impress me on this event, on this show. He came in and said, this is Buki and I'm wearing my, wow. I'm wearing my Ashabi collection. So you have to go as a brand everywhere you are. If you're telling us you own a brand, you want people to trust you with the brand. You want to trust yourself first with it. Maybe when we look at your wardrobe, most times if it is fashion, like the question, we want to see your designs in your wardrobe. You telling us to buy, we don't even see it on you. Nobody will do that. So you want to be consistent with it. You want to be patient with it. It might not look that rosy from the onset, but you want to continue to do it. And trust me, like Buki mentioned, social media has made things easy for us. What's that business you can do? This one, you don't even need to have a big store. You can work with logistic. They're going to deliver for you. Post on Facebook, post on Instagram, disturb anybody's timeline. Anybody does not want to see your post, block me. But I will disturb your timeline because I need your attention. I need your attention because I have something I can help you out with. I have a service I can render. Out of me rendering service, there's something I want to get from you too. So I will not just only be on your timeline for nothing. I want you to have that memory that when somebody says Ashabi collection, I'm like, oh, I see what Buki just did. You try to raise the Ashabi collection up for us so that we can see. So somebody is mentioning Akara and I'm like, oh, Buki, Ashabi collection, she can do it. Because she is even promoting herself on it. But you telling us you can do this, but you're not even happy, you're not even proud of what you can do. You're not consistent on it. It doesn't promise to be rosy from the onset. No. When we look at those who make it to the top, when they share their story to us, we will be surprised what they did, and you'll be like, you did all of this. They don't give up. If you give up on it, nobody will celebrate you. We've said it times without number in this section today. So it is in that business too. Remain there. Stand your place. And somebody is doing it, but these people are getting more crowd than me. Hey, don't rush. Don't be in a rush. They paid some sacrifice you never know behind. You can go on social media, post your post every time. If you can do adverts on them, do advert, let it go as far as it can go. Out of few people, if they might not come come in straight up to patronize you. You saw my post today. I posted on my business. Tomorrow, I posted on my business. Next tomorrow, one day there will be a need for it. And the first person you want to remember is me, because I'm all over your face. I'm just there. It's not as if I'm neither here nor there. No, I come today, and now everybody is getting used to think beyond the present, not because of anything, but because of the consistency. This platform has been in existence for the past 6 years. So if I wasn't consistent enough, some people who will join the live stream today will not even join because they say, I don't understand what that platform is. Fine, some people did not really understand it, but you see me post every time and you keep watching, you be like, I think I can unfold it. And when somebody mentions my name, a lot of people call me, they say, Tony, you think beyond the present, and I laugh. That shows I'm already registering something in their mind beyond just my name. So register your business in our mind. Register your business in that family's mind, that when they need somebody to refer, before they mention 2, 3, your name pops up. And when they refer, you don't disappoint people. A lot of people disappoint. Don't disappoint people. Say it the way it is. I will get your clothes ready. So date. And that date, before that date, if I even wake up, I'm seeing a text message. We're on our way to deliver. There's no how we'll not come back again. There's no how. So out of your busy schedule, if you feel that business is what you want to do, strive to balance it up. Make your words, and that would help you. So as we are coming to a conclusion of today's segment, we will not but thank you so much, Buki, for being part of this. Thank you so much. I believe this has helped a lot of us. It has inspired us. Not only has it inspired us, we have been able to think. Some of us are holding grudges. Some of us are not letting go. Some of us are bottling that thing because we feel, this is too much. I can't just let go. We are now learning to let go. Yeah, we are learning to let go because there's nothing we want to do with holding them in the mind. We have to free it, just the same way you were able to do it. And I want to really especially thank you for honoring our invitation. And the good thing about this is, Booking will still come back. As long as some of you that want us to come back, just send me some DMs and message. And for some of you watching and you're thinking, I have a story to tell too. Bookie's story has inspired me to say something, to speak out. Yeah, we have our platforms for you. If you know you have that story that can motivate people, that can inspire people, that can get them to think beyond their present. People are going through a lot. Let's stop putting hold on our government. How can we help ourselves individually? Let it be our focus. Buki came today now, she has said this, and one way or the other, she has helped somebody. She has helped me personally. And I know she has helped some couple of people watching this today too. So if you have a story, you've gone through it, how were you able to navigate your way and you were able to make it to the top? You want to speak out so that people going through such things too, they will be able to navigate their way. And you can always message us on our email, thinkbeyondthepresent@gmail.com. We want to keep this on a monthly basis. Next month, we would ask somebody else again to come on. It's not restricted to women or anybody. You have that story that can motivate people. Just write us up. We would make a time for you to be here with you so that people can learn. People can be motivated. We don't have to see them one-on-one. We just want to speak out the story. And like I said, the platform is to motivate people. Think beyond the present vision is to motivate people to think beyond impossibilities of life. What are those impossibilities you've already created for yourself? What are those ways they've write you off and said you can't even make it? What are those feelings that have come to you several times with that number and said, no go area, you think you can do it? You can do it. All you just need, like we said, is to reposition your mindset. Buki went through all of this. How was she able to do it? She picked her stuff. She worked on her self-esteem. She repositioned her mindset. She saw the best of what she could do. And she has not come to pick points on what others have done and keep dwelling on it. She mentioned that point, and that point is going on with me. She said everyone in all those things she said has come to play a role. Everybody has a role to play in your life. They had to define the role they want to play in your life. Did they want to play the role of good? Did they want to play the role of bad? Did they want to play the role of betrayer? Did they want to play the role of lifter? Let them define it. And once they define the role they are playing in your life, don't pick offense. That is just what they have been ordained to do in your life. Absolutely. So since we cannot query it, move. The world is no longer dwelling on past and celebrating anniversaries of things that has happened. We have moved. That's our slogan. We have moved. When it happens, we move. When it happens, we move. When it happens, we move. So you doing it can keep doing it. I think you're enjoying it by making us cry or making somebody cry. But that person you are doing it for has moved. And you that you are moving, you need to move because you need to come back to say your story. And they need to celebrate you. Buki, I want to especially thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for making our time with us. And for
Thank
those
you.
of you watching that wants a Shabi collection, Buki is at your service. She has a website.
Yes.
Buki, can you mention the website?
AshadeCollection.com, and on Facebook, it's Ashade Collection. It's actually Ashade. Our mother's name is Akola Ashade, so we get Ashade Alfred. Ashade Collection
Oh,
on
it's
Facebook.
Ashade. Oh, I think I was mentioning it wrongly. I was saying Ashabi. I thought it was Ashabi. My bad.
It's Ashade.
Ashade. Oh, that's nice. So that's mommy's, something you're naming after mom.
Yes. My mother
that's
of
really
fashion.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you want to take it? You want to take it a bit local with us, like the way the mom dressed those times? Yeah. So if you need to, yeah, I see somebody just posted now.
That's my sister. Yes.
Oh, thank you, ma'am, for joining. Ashade is spelled A-S. I'm gonna pin it on Instagram. Let me see if I can pin it before we round up. Oh, I think I already have this. Okay, Bookie, please can you pin for that? And then I'm gonna spell it is ASADECOLLECTION.com. Ashade Collection. So even from your comfort of your home, you can order. Go ahead, encourage us, encourage mommy story. Not only Bookie. We want to keep telling a story. We want it to go around the world. So thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Art Paul. So since we do not have any question again, we want to call it a day today. And next month again is going to be another edition. You want to stay tuned and keep your eye on it when it comes up next month again. We're going to let you know who the guest speaker would be for next month. But till then, God be with you. God be with me. God be with every one of us. And do not forget, in anything you're doing, you want to make God the center of it. You can say it, we can aspire, we can dream, we can think about it. Like Buki said, when you buy a iPhone, or we're not trying to promote a brand on this platform, but we just use it. If you buy a phone and you have issue with the phone, you want to take it back to the manufacturer because they know the better way to work on it. So who is your whole manufacturer? Is God. In anything you're going through, your first person you want to consult is God before you even say it to anyone. Go back to him that molds you, that knows you. Even before you were born, he knows the plans he has for you. And his plans are good. He's not of evil. It might look like, though he's not looking like it. Oh, he's looking like the whole world is coming down on me. No, you just want to relax. You want to relax. There is nothing to panic about. He got your back. Bookie, can you post it on Facebook too? I think somebody's spelling it wrongly on Facebook. I see aside. I see somebody writing aside or
it's
Ashade. So please,
I'll fix that.
Ashade. Yeah. So don't give up on yourself. Keep pushing. And trust me, you can do it. You have the strength. God be with you and be with every one of us till we meet on the next edition of Art Paul with TBTP, which it means Think Beyond the Present. It's going to be another wonderful one again. You want to stay tuned and kindly follow us on all our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Think Beyond the Present. We're on Instagram, Think Beyond the Present. We are on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have wonderful videos there. There are some videos, I think some of the ones I can remember, we talked about season and time, why me, fear. You know, there are a lot of topics we have talked about that can help you even as you are nursing through those pain in order to strengthen you to come out strong. Kindly subscribe on our YouTube too. And we have it on TikTok too, Think Beyond the Present. We have it on Twitter, TBTP1234. So kindly follow us on our social media platform. We encourage us to do more. And thank you all for commenting. I see a lot of comments today. Being the first edition, we are so, so grateful. And Buki is especially thanking you too for not letting me and Buki do this alone. Or Bookie, what do you think?
Yes, thank you for your encouragement.
We love you all so much. So bye. Thank you,
Bye. Thank
everyone.
you.
My name remains Toyin Olasinde, the administrator of Think Beyond the Present. Yeah. Bye bye.